Before we get started, I want to remind you about Stick Aid 2010, September 4th on Stickham. Miles Dyer, Blade 376, Charlie Is So Cool, like everyone getting involved to raise money for UNICEF.
People staring, people, well, we don't care.
It's a true fact. I almost made a terrible mistake when I decided to leave the radio show. I thought I needed to do something extra to kind of explain to you about these people that you're about to hear and who they are.
The final edition of the Bill Elder Morning Program. I just wish I had something planned.
I was looking at my departure from a completely different angle. I got this call from a lady friend of mine at the newspaper, and when I handed in my resignation, the word got around really quickly. It's a tough decision to leave a job that you love so much. When she asked what I was going to do on the last show, my comment was, well, I'm not really going to have one. Jeffrey Henderson was the guy that did voices for me on the radio since I began in 1970. In fact, when I was doing nights at the Big X, we did some pretty edgy stuff after 11 o'clock.
We can barely even repeat the things we used to do.
We can't barely even. We can't repeat the things we used to do.
You've been such a big help to me my whole career, and you know, I'm just glad you didn't end up like Blake.
When Jeffrey had his swing at comedy, he went out to California with Blake Clark, where they hung around, David Letterman and Robin Williams, who were also getting started at the same time. And she said, what do you mean? And I said, well, I've handed in my notice. I'll work the last day, and then Monday, I won't be there. But there's a time when you have to say, this gig is over. The lady's name was Skippy Davis, and she'd written some very nice articles about me for the newspaper. Once I made the decision that I was going to leave, I was perfectly okay with it. I said, you know, I've done what I intended to do. I had a great time. It's time to move on and do something else. I said, look, it's really no big deal. And she said, no, you listen to me. These people have listened to you for 30 years. You owe it to them to let them say goodbye. Rick Lanford is a priest. Oh, God. Hold on. I'm sorry, I can't say that without laughing.
You are a living legacy to Middle Georgia.
Now, you know, that's what they tell people right before they pass away.
That's right. And he was a good old boy.
To have been on the air on a Friday and then not have been on the air on a Monday, she really did me a big favor by writing this article. Knowing in advance that you're getting ready to leave before anybody else, and I mean like a year and a half before, is really a great advantage. But really looking back on the decision to leave, my timing couldn't have been more perfect. Carolyn Creighton, who was the head of the Cherry Blossom Festival.
Now you have a view that is incredible.
Yeah, I do. I have a great view. I see the rear end of a church and a psychiatric hospital from here.
It really was a great last day. I heard from people by telephone. People dropped by to see me that I haven't seen in years. Frank Malloy, we call him the Anchor Man. And when he first came to Macon, he did sports on my radio show as well as on television. He's the dad of my godson, Nick Malloy.
3 hours of just nonstop praise for you.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
And don't ever think that I'm not constantly reminded of how lucky I am to have found a career and something that I love to do as much as radio.
I actually heard about you before I ever met you, because I remember you invented a nickname for me.
I did.
You had your own contest, and people were coming up to me on the street and calling me Biff, and I had no clue who they were talking.
It was a fantastic 30 years. Does this mean I'm going to stop making radio videos? Of course not.